You see the men? Yeah, we got the men coming behind you. Okay, excuse me. Excuse me.
Magkukuha ako ng CPC. Good evening.
Take one when I'm ready, Jennifer. You have to wait till Russell gets here before you get this.
Yeah, you know what? Let's wait for Russell to get here.
No. Let me take some shots now.
I've been taking tons of shots. I will.
Yeah, you can take as many as you want.
It's on your phone.
Jackie Wall.
I'm slipping there. Here, everybody, look for me. Look for my blog. Nice blog.
I thought you went to Spain, but you didn't go to Spain. I couldn't reach you. I'll fly you for a week. No, I don't. Sorry.
Alan J. Levine, Stephen Erdely, and Mitchell Brownstein. I thought I had Good We all, as Glenn Nashon was mentioned, we all support Anthony, and we know, I can tell you, having worked with him for the past decade, I have never, ever worked with a more elite politician than Anthony. We would be lucky to have him as our MP. Speaker, he will still be remembered, he will still be recognized by all of us as Quebec's Minister of Jewish Affairs, our long-standing member of the National Assembly for Darcy McGee. Let's hear it for Lawrence Bergman.
Thank you, Mike. Martin Rotran, distinguished guests, dear friends. What a pleasure to be here tonight. What an honor to be here tonight. Say a few words about my dear friend, Anthony Housefather. I had the privilege, as the MA for Darcy McGee, to work with Anthony for many, many years. I can assure you that Anthony is a man of honor and great integrity. A man of tremendous competence. He's disciplined in his work. Et comme on dit, il maîtrise ses dossiers. Quand Anthony vient en réunion, il connaît ses dossiers par cœur. I was always impressed whenever I had a meeting with Anthony how well he knew his dossiers. Anthony is someone who loves all Canadians. Canadians who were born here, who have chosen to come to our shores, no matter what their color, their creed, their religion, or their country of origin, as evidenced by the human rights walkway that was established in Côte-Saint-Luc during Anthony's time. I also, in all of my meetings with Anthony, was impressed how his one credo was to serve well his constituents. He never turned his back on his constituents, all the while maintaining his blue ribbon principles of integrity, competence, and honor. I remember very well when the government of Quebec allowed the city of Côte-Saint-Luc, the citizens of the city of Côte-Saint-Luc, Hampstead, and Town Royal to demerge and go back to become their own cities. Anthony stood front and center, never turned his back on his citizens, and he, with his impetus, those three cities are now cities on their own. I have a little private story to tell you. We were working for the financing of the Aquatic Center in Côte-Saint-Luc. The last day came where the minister had to sign the documents. I was in Quebec City. I get a call from the minister at 8 o'clock in the morning saying, we need one more letter from the city of Côte-Saint-Luc, one more confirmation from the mayor. You think you can get it? I said I can get it, and I'll tell you something. If Anthony Housefather will give you his word, you can count on it. The minister said to me, you call Anthony, I'll call my fonctionnaire and the people in Quebec City and see about this guy, Anthony Housefather, who he didn't know at the time. A half hour later, I called back the minister and I said, you have Anthony's word? He said, I'll tell you something. I checked in Quebec City. Anthony Housefather's word is his bond. The people in Quebec City trust Anthony Housefather. I know that I'm limited in time. I just want to tell you one final thing. I had the privilege for 20 years to sit in the Liberal caucus in Quebec City. There are many issues which come up for an M&A where it takes lots of guts for the M&A to stand up in the caucus, because the caucus is a closed meeting where your boss, the Prime Minister of Quebec, or the Leader of the Opposition is sitting there. But if there's an issue which faces your constituents, you have two choices. Stand up on your feet for your constituents, or try to make political gain by being nice to your boss. And I saw over the years MNAs stand up for their own constituents. Never take a step back. Anthony Housefather is the guy we should have in the Liberal caucus in Ottawa, because he will stand up for each and every one of you. You will be his prime mission in Ottawa. I want Anthony Housefather to speak on our behalf, on my behalf. And so, on election day, I will vote Anthony Housefather. And until election day, I will work as hard as ever to bring up my friends, my relatives, to go and vote for Anthony Housefather, the next Member of Parliament for Mount Royal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lawrence Bergman. You know, when you're putting a campaign like this together and you're trying to win the Mount Royal riding, there's some very important people you want in your corner. And there's probably nobody better who can win after win, election after election, who's a man of the people. And if he supports you, then you're going in the right direction. Our next speaker, the legendary councillor from Snowdon, Mr. Marvin Rotrek.
Vraiment, je suis fier aujourd'hui d'être ici. Je peux pleurer quand je vois les gens qui représentent les quatre coins de le comté de Montréal, les gens qui habitent chez moi ici à Snowdon, qui est une reflection de la diversity canadienne. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I almost moved to tears because I see an outpouring of support that I consider what makes our country great. Mount Royal is a reflection of Canada. It's a country of immigrants. We come from all over, and yet we work well together. We cooperate well together. We built something unique in this country. And in Mount Royal, there are many ethnic groups from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, people who are first-generation immigrants, some who've been here a little longer, and we built something special in this neighborhood. It's been my privilege to represent a multicultural and multiracial neighborhood for 33 years. And I know there is a bond between the population of the neighborhood and the core values of the Liberal Party, because there is no party that has stood as strongly for a tolerant, multiracial, multicultural society. It was Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the Liberal Prime Minister, who got rid of the discriminatory laws against people of color coming to Canada, who gave us open immigration. Ladies and gentlemen, in my years as a councillor, I have had occasion to work with the Mayor of Côte Saint-Luc, previously a councillor in Côte Saint-Luc, Anthony Housefather, very, very closely. And this is what I can tell you. Anthony is honest. Anthony is dedicated. Anthony is competent. And Anthony is progressive. These are wonderful traits to have, and it speaks to the quality of the work that he has achieved as a councillor and then as a mayor, and it speaks to his potential to represent us in Parliament and to fill those big shoes that's being left by the Liberal MP, Irwin Cotler, who is taking his retirement. Irwin once told me we need to find someone who will work to build a country together, a country where you can say proudly, I am a Filipino Canadian, I am a Bangladeshi Canadian, I am a Jewish Canadian. You can be proud of who you are, your heritage or your origin, and yet you can also be proud of your Canadian identity. The Liberal Party has pushed this. Irwin Cotler has pushed this. And Anthony Father will deliver this. It's going to take a young generation of people like Anthony to take the flame from old guys like and to assure that these values are the values of our youth and the values of our future. Ladies and gentlemen, before I say more, I want to recognize that tonight is very special. First of all, I want to recognize my mayor in the borough of Côte-Neige-NDG, Russell Copeland. Now, it is an honor for me to be at this podium with Lawrence Bergman, who served 20 years for Darcy McGee, which covers a large part of Snowdon. I think when it was said in the suburban newspaper a few years ago that there was only one politician this century more popular than Mr. Bergman, it's probably true. And that politician was Joseph Stalin, and they didn't have fair elections. Having said that, having this guy in your corner means that you have access to every group, every individual in the Darcy McGee area. It's a wonderful endorsement. But I don't want to forget Russell Copeland. He's my mayor right now, and he is doing a fantastic job as mayor of Côte-Neige-NDG, rebuilding this borough and solving its problems in a way that I think the citizens respect. But most people don't remember that Lawrence and Russell used to serve together in the National Assembly, because Russell also So Anthony, I want to let the media know, and the people out there, that there are a couple of people in here who are pretty influential who have come out tonight to say publicly they're going to make sure that Anthony Housefather is the next MP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let me see, and let me announce who's in the room. First of all, if I forget somebody, please accept my apologies. And if I mispronounce your name, I am very sorry. I did not mean to do that. Among the elected officials, we have Russell Copeland, the mayor of Côte-Neige-NDG. We have Mike Cohen, who's the Côte St. Luc councillor and the master of ceremonies. We have the members of the Côte St. Luc council. I'm not sure all of them are here, but Ruth Kovac, Sam Goldblum, Mitchell Brownstein, Glenn Nashin, Alan Levine, Dita Burku, Steve Bertolini, all of whom are working actively in all 8 districts of Côte St. Luc to turn out the Liberal vote. We also have Mr. Daniel Robert. Mr. Daniel Robert est dans la salle. Mr. Joseph Daoura, les conseillers municipaux de Ville-Montréal, et Madame Mien Diamliti, qui est aussi conseillère municipale, peut pas être avec nous autres ce soir, mais donne son appui et son consentement que son nom soit lu. I'd also note that Mr. Warren Budning and Ms. Karen Zeidman, councillors of the town of Hampstead, are present. And I believe Ms. Angela Mancini, the president of the English Montreal School Board, is present. If not, she should be here soon, but she has consented to have her name read out, as has Madame Sylvia Lobianco, the vice chair of the English Montreal School Board. I'd like to announce the presence of our school commissioner for Snowdon Côte-Neige, notre commissaire scolaire pour la commission scolaire de Montréal, M. Cocon. Manourouzaman, Mr. Manourouzaman est mieux connu dans le quartier comme Manier. Tout le monde le connaît comme Manier. Sid Wise, School Commissioner for Côte St. Luc. Lawrence Bergman. Erwin Kotler, who could not be here today, sends his support. And I'd like to also announce Mr. Victor Drury, Councillor of the City of Westmount, who can't actually vote in this riding, but has a lot of friends he's going to turn out to vote. So now I want to mention the people from the community who have made a commitment to the Liberal Party and to the campaign of Anthony Housefather. And these are pretty heavyweight names in our neighborhood, and many of you will know them. I want to announce the presence of Corazon Aberin, the president of FAMAS. Atlanta Suarez, the vice president external of FAMAS. Nida Guarapes, the past president of FAMAS. I see her in the back. Mr. James de La Paz, the president of the Council of Canadian Filipino Associations. Mr. De La Paz. Mr. Ratan Singh, the president of the Sri Guru Ramdas Temple. Mr. Singh. I'm not sure the next person is here, but he specifically asked that his name be read. Mr. Salam Edmond Yavi, the president of the Muslim Council of Montreal. I want to note the presence both of Karen Park, the president of the Grenada Nationals Association, and Mr. Kenny Calder, the past president of the Grenada National Association of Montreal. I asked Mr. Warwood not to fear, his name will be read out a little bit later. I also want to notice the present in the room of a delegation from the Knights of Rizal, Ray Balenci, Knight Commander, Eastern Region. Dario Volko, the Deputy Commander of the Knights of Rizal for Eastern Region. Mr. Felix de Luna, Knight Commander, Montreal Chapter. Mr. Luna, present. Well, let's clap him. Mr. Ravindra Patel from the Sri Ramji Temple. Mr. Deepak Dar from the Bangladesh Hindu Association. Mr. Moyed Al-Talibi, President of the Iraqi Community Center. Mr. Mark Mendy Zirkin from the Lubavitch Community. Ms. Iveline Fleming, the President of the Jamaican Canadian Community Women's League of Montreal. Janet Smith, the President of the Caribbean Pioneer Women of Montreal. Ms. Lissera Duck-Yogan, President of the Cordillera Association of Montreal. Lissera. Diana Frey, the President of the Creative Social Center. Diana. Mr. Ron Licorice, I'm not sure he's here, of the Trinidad and Tobago Association. Let's give him a round of applause. Roy Sangier, the President of the Filipino Basketball League. Roy. Sally De Vera from the Lucy Place Association. Sally. Lumen Aberian from the Newman Place Association. Lumen. Josefa Nicholas, the President of the Federation of Canadian Filipino Associations. I'm not sure Gemma is here, but Gemma Rayburn Baines wanted us to let you know the Playmaster Association members support Anthony Housefather. There's supposed to be a delegation here from the Fondation des Quartiers, Nancy Sarto and Anil Patel. I don't see him in the room, but let's give them a hand. Young Manny Lagasta, the President of the Phil Can Chess and Social Club. Manny has his own cheering section. J'aimerais annoncer la présence de Mme Aline Molka, l'ancienne présidente de la division séfarade de l'appel juif unifié de la communauté juive et ancienne vice-présidente de la communauté séfarade du Québec. Mme Molka. Également, j'annonce la présence de Julia Castiel, présidente de l'Institut de la culture séfarade, ancienne présidente de la Fédération séfarade du Canada. Émile Molka, je pense que j'ai vu Émile avant, ancien président de la Fédération séfarade du Canada, ancien président de la congrégation Or-Hayam, ancien vice-président de la communauté séfarade du Québec. Miss Ellie Israel, our former school commissioner, called. She had a family emergency, could not come, but wanted her name read up. Thank you, Ellie, for your support. Mr. Sid Cronish, President of the Côte St. Luc Men's Club. I believe we have a couple of former councillors in the room. Bonnie Fagenbaum from Hampstead, David Klinger from Côte St. Luc, Isidore Goldberg from Côte St. Luc. So let's give them a hand. Shirley Giles, President of the Colored Women's Club, and Gloria Simmons, the Director of the Colored Women's Club. Leonard Warwood, the Honorary Council of Grenada, here as an individual, not as a consul. Mr. Nizam Uddin, President of the Pakistan Association. Miss Mercy Sia, the President of the Filipino Volleyball Association. Connie Fernandez, the past President of the Filipino Nurses Association of Quebec. Dikin Atarian.
Mr. Ratran, I would like to acknowledge Ms. Angie Otelio, who is the present president.
Is
now.
Angie here?
Outside.
Angie, you are welcome and thank you for your support. Mr. Dikin Atarian, the past president of the Armenian General Union and the president of the Liberal Party policy group of Quebec. David Lisbona, the Montreal chairman of B'nai B'rith and the former president of Generations Foundation and MEDA. Ms. Kering Tabanar, the president of Seniors in Motion. Kering. Mrs. Watani, the president of the Tamil Association. There you are. Is Mr. Perry Balendra in the room, the past president of the Quebec Coalition for Peace in Sri Lanka. Mr. Balendra. Mr. Salam El Mousavi, the board executive member of Ahil Bayt Islamic Organization. Representing the Chinese community, Madame Ying Fu. Mr. Guang King Sung, and Ming Jia, the president of the Shandong Province Chamber of Commerce. And I would like to also recognize a large delegation from the Bangladeshi community, including Mr. Abdul Mutaleb, Mr. Beliad Hossein, Mr. Masum Rahman, Mr. Miziz Sirajul, Mr. Abdul Mutaleb Kandakar, Mr. Alem Khan, Dr. Ahmed Hossein, Mr. Shakhawat Hossein, Mr. Badshaw, Mr. Shahan, Mr. Manikula, Mr. Riza Chowdhury, Mr. Yujim Udem, Mr. Mustafizur Ramen, Mr. Zia El Haq Zia. And I thank you all for your support. My friend Ronnie. I want to also announce Estelle Broya, the president of the Pagasinan Association. Thank you for coming. And finally, as an observer, I'd like to recognize another elected official, Mr. Bill Steinberg, the mayor of Hampstead. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your commitment to Anthony Housefather. With you in his corner, I don't see how he can lose. With you in his corner, the message will get out to every single voter in the riding. This riding stretches all the way from Park Extension to Lachine. It is very varied from one part of the district to another.
Excuse me, there's Madeleine Jennings here. Yes, oui.
And I have a special treat. I want to announce the presence of a former member of Parliament for Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, Lachine, Miss Marlene Jennings. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know that we have work for all of you. We need to get out the Filipino vote. There was a sign up here earlier today urging the Filipino vote to come out for it. We have to get out the Bangladeshi vote. My friend Rabindra promises all the Gujaratis will vote, every single last one of them, I promise it. We'll see if he's true to his word. We need to get the Jamaican community out, the Trinidadian community out, the black community out. We need to get everybody out. So let me hear it from you. Housefather, Anthony Housefather, Anthony Housefather. Without further ado, I will pass it back to the MC so we can introduce the speaker of the evening, our Mayor, Russell Coe.
Thank you very much, Marvin. And, you know, after all those announcements, I don't think there's any candidate in Mount Royal riding that could measure up to this type of multicultural support from street to street, block by block. Everybody seems to be behind Anthony Housefather.
Yeah.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, again, talking about endorsements and people who support you, it doesn't get much better than Marvin Rotran, and it doesn't get much better than the mayor of the borough of Côte-des-Neiges NDG, Russell Copeman, ladies and gentlemen.
Merci beaucoup, Mike. Cher Anthony, mon collègue Marvin, messieurs, dames. Anthony, you know, I've heard the expression painting the town red, but I didn't realize that was also included painting rooms red. Look, obviously Anthony is going to paint the town red, and he's painted his committee room red, and that's a very good sign for October 19th. I had occasion when I was the M&A for NDG, and in addition to the honor of having served with Lawrence Bergman, but I had occasion to work with Anthony in his capacity, initially in his movement to reestablish the city of Côte-Saint-Luc. And I've had occasion since becoming the mayor of the borough of Côte-des-Neiges-Notre-Dame-de-Grâce to work more closely with Anthony as mayor of Côte-Saint-Luc. We sit together on that all-important group called the Agglomeration Council, where we work together to try and advance the causes of the people of the island of Montreal and the people of the West End. And Anthony, to my view, has been a stellar mayor of Côte-Saint-Luc, and it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to work with mayors from other jurisdictions. Shortly after I was elected in November of 2013, I went on a tour and met with Bill Steinberg and met with Anthony, met with Mayor Philippe Roy, met with Mayor Benny Masala, because I think in today's world, it is not sufficient just for us to work in our own small or smaller arena. We have to take a broader vision, not only of this, of our cities, of the island of Montreal, but the province and the country. And I know that Anthony shares that broad vision and participates very, very extensively in issues far beyond the city of Côte-Saint-Luc. Vous savez, le comté de Mont-Royal a des municipalités où la population est un peu plus homogène. Mais le comté couvre également une bonne partie de Snowdon et Côte-des-Neiges. Vous le savez peut-être pas, 4 out of 10 Montrealers were born outside of Canada. And when I look at this room, it is a wonderful reflection of that reality to see so many people here from different places around the world. To demonstrate support for Anthony. What I often say to people, you know, unless one is a native person, and even then, we've all come from somewhere else. It's just a question of when. My mother was born in Barbados of parents from British Guiana, so I have a certain immigrant experience. It's not the same as the immigrant experience as everyone in this room. I fully understand that. But it is the presence of people from around the world combined with those families who have been here for generations, whether they be English-speaking or French-speaking, combined with the presence of the native peoples that has made this city, this province, and this country one of the greatest countries in the world. And alors, ça me fait grand plaisir d'être parmi vous, de soutenir la candidature de mon ami Anthony, de lui souhaiter bonne chance le 19 octobre avec votre aide. Je suis convaincu qu'il sera votre prochain député du comté de Mont-Royal. Merci beaucoup. Oui.
Merci beaucoup, Russell. Maintenant, le ville de Montréal est représenté ici ce soir. Et c'est un plaisir d'inviter M. Daniel Robert, conseiller municipal à Ville-Montréal, pour donner l'appui à Anthony Masala.
Bonsoir, good evening. Lots of nice words have been said about Anthony tonight. They're all true. I had the pleasure of working with Anthony from time to time and talk to people that have worked with Anthony for years, and it's unanimous. Anthony Housefather was born, it appears, to serve. And this is what he did in his town, and this is for sure what's going to do in Ottawa. I think it's very important. Lots of people say, oh, I'm there to serve, I'm there to serve. Look around tonight here, who's here? It's the community. So that's Anthony. He wants to hear about people. He wants to know what people feel because he wants to represent you, not to be on a power trip to go to Ottawa. He wants to help each and every one of you. Now, I'm from the northern part of Mont-Royal, and as a matter of fact, our town is called the name of the riding, but I can vouch that there is strong support over there, and there's always been for the Liberal Party, but with a candidate like our friend Anthony, it's going to be just, I guess, a raz-de-marée. So the tsunami is going to hit the town of Montreal and the riding, and it's a very good thing. Now, I want to say that, as a matter of fact, tonight, I've seen a few faces here that are people from the town of Montreal. So I'm not the only one in the room. So I guess this speaks for itself. So, je te souhaite, mon cher ami, tout le succès que tu mérites.
Oui, oui, oui.
Je te souhaite incroyable.
Montreal School Board was planning to be here, and I know she had a meeting at 6, a very pressing meeting, so she has not arrived, so I don't think we'll hear her remarks, but she will be here shortly to wish our mayor well in his new pursuit. But now it's time to hear from the man of the honor, the man of the hour. I'm going to say the honorable because we are going to have this man not only in Ottawa, but in the cabinet of our federal government, the Liberal Party. Further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Anthony Housefather.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Bravo.
This is one of the times that having the loudest voice in the room is very, very helpful.
Oh, Mike.
You may have been wondering why we don't have a mic. The microphone we brought didn't work. But that same thing hasn't held true for tonight because the night has worked.
Yes.
We have had an amazing plethora of people here from all of the different communities in Mount Royal. I want to first start by thanking Lawrence Bergman, our member of the National Assembly who I had the honor of working with for over a decade. Lawrence is a man of incredible integrity, and his support is incredibly meaningful to me, so thank you, Lawrence. And then I mentioned that Russell Koopman was the tallest elected official. But he's also very tall when it comes to intelligence, acumen, and integrity. So I want to thank Russell so much for his support. It's also and then there's Marvin Rotrand, the Dean of the Montreal City Council. Quand vous êtes appuyé par quelqu'un qui a été élu pour 33 ans consécutivement, vous connaissez que vous avez quelqu'un qui vous appuie, qui connaît comment gagner les élections.
Oui, en effet.
And we need every vote in this riding, so thank you, Marvin. Your support is incredibly meaningful. Et là, mon ami Daniel Robert et les autres membres du conseil municipal de Ville-Mont-Royal qui n'étaient pas pu être ici ce soir, je vous remercie beaucoup parce que pour moi, un de mes devoirs comme élu, c'est non seulement de représenter la ville de Côte-Saint-Luc, même si je suis maire de Côte-Saint-Luc, c'est de travailler étroitement avec les maires de toutes les villes sur l'île de Montréal, Montréal et tous les banlieues, because we're one community on the island of Montreal. And working with Philippe Roy, working with Bill Steinberg, who's here tonight, working with all of the mayors, I can tell you we have a great team of mayors on the island of Montreal, people who know how to get things done, and I can't wait to be representing all of them in Ottawa. Yeah. And now I am honored that Angela Mancini and Silvio Lobianco, the chairman and the vice chairman of the English Montreal School Board, have joined us tonight. And and Sid Wise, our school board commissioner, who unfortunately is too ill to come tonight. I'm so honored to have all of your support. For me et le commissaire de la commission scolaire de Montréal, I'm so honored also to make sure that we have Hakon's support. I don't know where he is. I know he's somewhere. There he is. Okay. Come on, school board people, come closer. To have this man's support not only as a pillar of the Bangladeshi community, but as someone who represents the French school board. That is such an incredible thing. For me, one of the things that I've always said is, when I talk about elected officials, it's not only the people who are at the federal, provincial, and municipal levels, it's the people who serve as school board commissioners that are so important, and their election is so important to our community, in the English-speaking community of Quebec, as a minority community, because it's the only organization we control. So I just want to say how honored I am to have your support. The same is true for Warren and Karen in Hampstead, who aren't Warren, you can come up here too. And I want to also thank, and this is absolutely primordial, I want to thank all of the leaders who were announced here tonight and all of the other people in this room. Because this is the difference between our campaign and the other campaigns in this riding. The other campaigns in this riding from each of the other parties are trying to work for the support of only one community. We're working for the support of every community in Mount Royal. And for me, it will not be enough to only win in my own city of Côte-Saint-Luc, which is one part of the riding. I want to make sure we win in TMR, we win in Snowden, we win in Côte-des-Neiges, we win in Hampstead, we win all over the riding. Yes, sir. And let me let you in on a little secret. I'm confident. The fact that the papers are all writing about what a close race Mount Royal is and how this riding has changed, it's true that demographically the riding is different. It's true that this riding has changed a little bit, but all in all, the values of this riding are liberal values. When I talk about liberal values, I talk about the Charter of Rights that was brought to us by Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Yeah! I've spent my career fighting for human rights, for making sure that all communities in Canada and in Quebec are equally respected. I've done it with a lot of people up here on the stage. We fought for a united Canada. We fought for the rights of minority communities in Quebec. We fought against Bill 14. We fought against the horrendous Charter of Values that would have taken away religious freedoms. And those are the values of Mount Royalers, because the people in this riding believe in the equality of all. We believe in bilingualism. We believe in multiculturalism. We believe that immigration is a richness and not something to be afraid of. And let's talk a little bit about Stephen Harper.
This guy's finished.
Let's talk a little bit about how he's the only prime minister to have had 2 recessions under his watch. Our dollar is falling, but yet jobs aren't increasing. On the island of Montreal, we have an unemployment rate of 11%. Our young people need jobs. The manufacturing section of this country has been abandoned. And when the Liberal Party is talking to you, we're talking about a party that believes that you need to take care of the poor, the middle class. We're talking about a party in the Liberal Party that doesn't believe you should get the same family allowance if you earn $50,000 as the guy who earns $1 million. We're talking about a party that cares about you and cares about me. We're talking about a party that will look at Mr. Harper's environmental record. One of the worst records in the Western world. We're the only country that pulled out of Kyoto. We're the only country where there was a deep protection of lakes and rivers and forests. And we can talk about the Liberal Party that believes that we need to give a cleaner environment to our children and grandchildren. We can talk about a conservative government that wants to end home mail delivery. That attacks our seniors and disabled disproportionately. We can talk about a government that muzzles scientists. A government who spends months and months and months concocting stories about how Mike Duffy repaid his expenses. And I can only contrast that to liberal values of ethics and honesty. When people ask me why I want to run for office in this riding, the answer is very simple. Because I've had the honor of serving this riding for 21 years as an elected official. And I've worked with so many communities in this riding as president of Alliance Quebec, as part of so many different communities and cultural communities in the riding. And I know this riding inside and out. I know every community, I know every street, I know every water main. And for me, we need money to fix our infrastructure. I agree with the Liberal plan to spend $125 billion on infrastructure over 10 years because we need to fix our STM. We need money to fix our roads, our sewers, our water mains. We need money to build jobs in this province and in this country. And so I've been so frustrated as an elected official by the lack of sustained infrastructure programs that I want to take care of it myself. I also want to talk about trains. TMR and Côte-Saint-Luc are next to, and Hampstead are next to the second biggest rail yards in Eastern Canada. But the Tories have done nothing about train safety, even though oil is being increased in terms of transport across Canada by 8 or 9 times since 2009. Until Lac-Mégantic, they didn't listen to us, they did nothing. And even then, they haven't done enough. We still have DOT 111 boxcars designed in the 1890s plowing through our communities. And I want to make things safer for us. And when I talk about making things safer, it's not by killing the long gun registry that we spent millions and millions of dollars to build, like Mr. Harper did. We need to know who owns a gun in our community. So I've been so frustrated by the Conservative record that I want to go forward and do things better. And I believe in a liberal vision, and I believe in this country from coast to coast to coast. I want to mention to you that I've worked with so many people on the stage on the demerger of our communities. And I bring up demerger not because today, 11 years later, it's an open issue, but because I think it's an issue of relevance in this election. When we talk about demerger, you will remember back to 2001, when 3 people were elected to represent the borough of Côte-Saint-Luc, Hampstead, and Montreal West. And we all promised that we would fight for the demerger of our communities if we were given an opportunity. Lawrence and Russell were part of a Liberal government that were elected that gave us a chance to demerge the communities we were elected to represent. Mr. Tremblay, the mayor of Montreal at the time, chose at the time to intervene and say, no, 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 I'm against the demergers. And my Conservative opponent, although he was elected promising to fight for demerger, did the exact opposite. And he fought for us to remain in the megacity. On the other hand, for me, my word is my bond. It would have been very easy to go off with Robert Libman and Gerald Tremblay and say, I'm going to break my word to my constituents, but for me, our city was better off on its own, and the people of our city trusted me. They trusted me to keep my word. And that's what I did, and with the help of many people up here, including Mitchell and Glenn and Sam and Stephen and Mike and others, we fought and Bill, who was there too, who was leading in Hampstead, we fought to get those cities back. And we did, and we won. But the reason I bring this up is I think there's 2 issues there. Number one, when you elect someone and they break your word, you know, they have that expression, fool me once, shame on you. But if you elect that same person a second time and they do it to you again, shame on me for electing them a second time. So I can only say that I want to thank each and every one of you with all my heart. Je vous remercie de tout ma cœur. Parce que pour moi, c'est vous autres qui sont la raison que je suis en politique. It's you that makes me go into politics. We have the greatest residents in this riding in the world, and it would give me nothing but pleasure to make sure that I'm your voice in Ottawa. So thank you so much again.
is Sidney Marglis. For those who don't know me, I happen to be running the campaign for Anthony, a man whom I've known for many years. And I can tell you there are 3 words that can describe him beautifully. He is honest, he has integrity, and he has commitment. As do most Canadians, and we in Montreal, we live within our means. And this campaign office is an example. It's functional, but not lavish like the Conservatives would have it. We are a dedicated group of volunteers who've come together. We hope that many of you will join our ranks. If you want to see Anthony as your next Member of Parliament, please sign up now, work with us over the next 5.5 weeks. So at this time on October 19th, or maybe a little later, with your help, we hope to raise a glass to victory. But for now, a toast to a successful election campaign and the election of Anthony Housefather.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming.
To see Toby if they want to volunteer.
See Toby in the front if you want to volunteer. Stick around, enjoy, celebrate.
Food, drinks.
We're on our way to victory.